Hi there, this is David and welcome to our review of Undertale for the PC, mobile, Switch, and PlayStation 4. You know how sometimes a great game will just kind of go under your radar without you really even noticing? That's how it was for me with Undertale. I had heard many great things about it over the years, however, every time that I looked at it, it either wasn't on sale, or the graphics looked ugly, or I thought that it was just some emo, depressing indie garbage like, Lisa the Painful. So I kept passing it up and playing something more lighthearted, colorful, and jovial. However, with travel restrictions easing up recently, my husband Ken has had to travel more and more, and thus, I've had more time to go into my backlog and check out some of those overlooked gems that I really haven't had the opportunity to play for the past couple of years since I have been so busy with the channel. And last week, it was Undertale's turn to be played. Over the years, I've heard so many good things about this game, but I do like to formulate my own opinions, since many times they do seem to deviate from the masses. And whenever I first bought it, I thought that I'd be kind of getting like an ugly, dark, kind of derpy Earthbound clone, but I'm here to tell you that is not what this game is all about. Undertale is definitely its own thing, and it's so much better for it. In fact, I really can't compare it to much of anything else on the market that I've played. It's kind of a conglomeration of so many playstyles along with its own twists that I can honestly say that there's nothing else quite like it, which is fantastic, since the JRPG genre can be known to be a bit stagnant at times. The first thing that you're going to notice are of course the graphics, and this game definitely has its own style. Unfortunately, I didn't quite jive with their aesthetic. Some areas look so much better than others, it's almost like they had 6 different artists for the 6 different areas. The snowy area looked lovingly designed, as does the town, while the waterfall area right after it is literally just blue paths on a black background. It's so boring. However, all told, it is cohesive in its own right, and the music is atmospheric. I just wish that it was a bit more colorful. Then there's the main character. My god, what were they thinking? She looks like some emo girl built on the NES who never smiles, doesn't hold her head up with confidence, and has horrible posture. I really don't know what was going on with the creation of this sprite. All the other ones look so lovingly crafted, but your actual hero looks like it came straight out of some cheap NES side-scroller in like 1987. The underworld of Undertale is actually very interactive. There's a lot to look at, a lot of signs to read, and a lot of lore to pick up on. Yet at the same time, it is delightfully linear. You're never really entirely left to your own devices. This is very much a straightforward, no-frills game, and I can appreciate that. That being said though, you can of course backtrack, but it's really just unnecessary, as is the grinding. If you fight what you come across, you'll be fine. And with that, let's talk about the battle system, because this is really the most innovative part of the game. Encounters are random, but mercifully, they don't happen all that often. You may get one encounter for like every 2 screens or so, which is quite nice, especially whenever you're trying to solve puzzles. However, whenever you do get into a battle, you'll kind of transform into like a little heart, which you can then control inside of a box. You'll get a chance to attack, and then depending on the weapon that you're using, you'll have to do different things to inflict more damage. The first weapon's simple enough, you just kind of line up your line with the center of the meter, but then subsequent weapons are a little bit more complex, asking you to mash buttons or line up multiple lines. But honestly, it's nothing too hard, and if I can do it, you can too. However, the highlight of the battle system is actually whenever the enemy is attacking you, because then you have to control the heart, and you have to dodge their attacks inside of the little box. And if you dodge all of their attacks within the given time, you're going to receive no damage. But if you're terrible at it like me, you're going to get hit constantly. Though for the most part, I was actually pretty okay with this, though some battles were much harder than others, especially the boss fights. Boss fights work much the same way as the normal fights, except that you're restricted in a different way in each boss. Each of them is going to change your heart in some way, changing its color, which also changes what you're able to do. Normally you can move about freely, but with these limitations, sometimes you can only jump, or move on certain lines, or kind of like move a little deflector shield around. It all just depends. This spices things up without making it feel frustrating or unfair. It just makes it a bit more interesting. Throughout the course of my 3-hour playthrough, I only died once, and that was during a particularly nasty boss fight against a Freddie Mercury wannabe. However, I didn't have to grind to beat the guy, I just needed to strategize, think about how to dodge his attacks, and then buy a little bit more healing items. Another unique feature is that you don't have to fight everything that you encounter. In fact, you're encouraged to show mercy and to let enemies go. And I am aware that you can do a pacifist run and not kill a single enemy over the course of the entire game. However, I didn't do that. I chose instead to go on a murderous rampage, slaughtering any enemy unfortunate enough to cross my path. I don't think that I let a single one go because I was hellbent on driving those bitches to extinction, with no mercy and no quarter shown. The 6 main areas of the game are all very different in their own ways. After you leave the prologue area, you're going to be in a snowy area where 2 skeletons will just hound you constantly, bothering you with their corny jokes and stupid antics. This area is easily the most linear of them all. Essentially, it's like one big puzzle room. You're not really exploring here, you're just kind of solving puzzles. But once you leave that snowy area, the rest of the game opens up more, and you're left to your own devices to explore, with puzzles only intermittently appearing. But now, let's get down to some of my complaints. There were so many annoying people who would just not leave you alone. First, you have Mother Goat during the prologue, then the dorky derp skeleton duo, then under the waterfall you have Lemonhead tripping over himself and chasing you around, all the while obsessed with some killer knight. But all of those are nothing compared to the most annoying character of them all, scientist Lisa Simpson, who's constantly calling you, bothering you, telling you stupid stuff that doesn't matter, turning you around in the wrong direction, or updating her Facebook status, whining about how shy she is. Like, girl, shut up. I don't care. Leave me alone. I don't need your help. I found myself wishing that there was some option to turn off the in-game cell phone because it kept speeding up through her dialogue and hanging up on the bitch. She was just so annoying. Another small annoyance that I had, and maybe this is just, the teacher in me, but they continuously misspelled capital. It has an AL at the end whenever you're referring to capital letters, but it has an OL whenever you're referring to a capital city of a country. And in a professionally released game, this is inexcusable. All that being said though, if you do have an evening where you really don't have anything going on and you want to fill it with a great game that you can beat in one sitting, look no further than Undertale. The entire game again took me about 3 hours from beginning to the incredibly surprising end. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but let's just say that I'm going to have to play through this game again whenever I get another quiet evening at home. Well, that's it for my review of Undertale. How did you feel about the game, and do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked this video and wanted to hear on the channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon, heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, or joining the Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them can be found in the video description. This has been David. If you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.